Hi everybody, Bald&curious here. So I had a viewer ask me about doing like a review uh, of my grand power after the use, which I kind of did after a year, and but I really didn't really address everything. Uh, Let me just clear the gun. Uh, this is my grand power Excalibur. My Extreme is actually at the Colorado Gunworks right now. I had a little issue with kind of excessive wear in the slide. Uh, I'm gonna post some pictures and show it right now. I talked about that in one of my videos. It didn't seem to affect the gun at all, the way it shot and functioned. And I have to say that the Extreme was actually more more reliable than Excalibur. Excalibur was a little more fine-tuned. What I actually ran most of the time was Excalibur lower because of the trigger with the Extreme upper. That's what I ran for my IDPA, and I ran the full Excalibur for my USPSA. Now, since I discovered the problem, I called Eagle Imports. They put me in touch with the Colorado Gunworks. I sent them an email with a couple of pictures, and I got a response right away. Send the gun in. No, it's a warranty issue. We'll fix it under warranty. So I did. At the same time, I asked them to upgrade the trigger and give me another safety, enlarged safety for my left side. And obviously it's gonna be upcharge. So kind of wish they would have called me right away when they did get a gun, but I'm guessing they were a little busy. So I actually called them about a week and a half after they supposedly received it. Talked to the gentleman. He was real nice. And since I wrote everything that I want them to do, he said if there's an issue, they'll call me and said the gun will be done in 2-3 weeks, which was fine by me since shooting season is pretty much over for me. So I'll update. I'll do an update video once the gun comes in. Now, back to the Excalibur. No issues as far as wear on a locking lugs like I had on Extreme. I don't really see anything here. Same goes for the barrel. No really premature wear, no nothing. I should probably clean it a little better. Actually, I should clean it, period, for the video. I had no real mechanical issue. There was a little braking period on the beginning of the gun. I'm usually not a believer in the braking periods, especially in a gun that's fairly simple like this. But yes, it did have a little braking period, and after that it was about 95% until I tailored my load. As I showed you, it does not like 165 grain bullets. It just shoots them all over the place. So that I wasn't happy with. Went back to 147s. It actually likes the best, anywhere around 135 in that range. I kind of still stick with the 147 Acme. I stick with those. They seem to be working the best for me, and I don't know, they offer a pretty good deal. Other than that, you can see a little holster wear, which, considering the dry fire and live fire I did, that's really not that bad for the gun. The spring, I think that's like a biggest weakness, since the gun is a little bit tightly fitted, at least at some spots. Let me show you what I mean. Let me just take it out. Actually, let me take everything out. And if you just put a slide on a frame, and you see the last inch, it's really tight. It's a lot smoother over here. You get to the last, so it gets really tighter. So you really need a little snappier load, and it doesn't really like the lightest spring. And because what happens sometimes, you're gonna wind up like this, and then you're gonna go double action, and hammer actually pushes it into battery. So with the right load, didn't really have an issue with the factory loads, but with the reloads, if you stick around 135 power factor with 147 grain bullets, that seems to be the best. Come on, dog. That seems to be the best load for it. So around 3.4 grains of tight group. Oh, I think I run like 3.6 of CFE right now with 147 grain bullets. Other than that, no major wear. My skateboard tape still holding up. No issues with the sights, and the fiber optic is actually holding on pretty good. Now, as far as the magazines goes, I had one or two that had a little surface rust, and this is the new mag I got from Eagle Imports. This is one I pretty much had used for a whole season, so it's really not that bad. I think one or two had a little surface rust, could be because I left them wet, and I guess one of them had a little screwed up spring, but then again, that could be because there's a permanently fixed block in there to limit this to 10 rounds, because just the state I live in, I don't have a choice on that. So that could be the reason why one of the magazines actually had a malfunction at the New Hampshire IDPA championship at the airplane stage, where I had a malfunction and then it turns out the mag was no good. I kind of threw the mag out and didn't use it for the rest of the match. Didn't really have any issues after that. So far, you know, I'd say that compared to the CZ75 SPO1 Shadow Target I had before, it's a different animal. CZ was a little easier to reload for, although you had to crimp a little harder and make them shorter because of the chamber. This likes the bullets to be crimped a little harder as well. So if you reload and you got a problem going into battery, I would look into the crimp first. Make sure that your overall length is okay, and that you do plunk test. I guess was another guy that PM'd me. The plunk test is just grab a dummy round. So basically, obviously, you clean the gun. This one's dirty, but you want to make sure that your chamber and everything is dirty, clean. And basically, when you take a bullet and drop it in, it should just plunk in. It makes a little plunk, and you should be able to just spin it freely. So then if you're still having a issue with that, try just increasing your crimp. At least for me, that solved the problem. Other than that, no, gun doesn't really care for a plated, jacketed, molly coated. That's what I stick with. I even shoot my reloads that are kind of oversized, get a little leading, but nothing that little chore boy can fix. For those of you who don't know what the chore boy is, the little thing you buy on Amazon, make sure it's a copper, not steel copper and copper coated, but it's copper, and you just wrap that around the brush. I've wrapped this around the brush. You run it through your barrel a couple of times, it gets all the lead residue out in a couple of strokes. I love the actual stainless steel barrel. It's really easy to clean. The whole gun is really easy to clean because there's not that many nooks and crannies, with the exception of the lightning cuts. But other than that, it's really easy to clean. And as long as you keep the back of this right here, back of this looped, gun pretty much functions. So I mean, there's no real need to be excessive cleaning with it like crazy. Never really had an issue with the slide and whatnot. So you put a little bit lube on the slide. Other than that, if you're having problems with the match, drop one or two drops right here on the side, and you're good to go. That's pretty much the only issues you would have. Now, that being said, I have another grand powder on the way, a little baby brother of this gun, or should I say a little baby brother of the Extreme, and that one's pretty much stock. This one and the Extreme is pretty much what I would call a racing guns, or semi-racing guns. The other one, the P11, is stock, so that's on the way. Probably have a review on it in a couple of weeks, and I'm actually curious how that one's gonna go. That one I might be a competition for my CZP-07 for my carry gun, so we'll see about that. For now, I'm actually happy I switched from CZ. Like I said, a little more tinkering to get the reload going right, but I just like the feel of this gun a little better. Even with reloads, it likes a little snappy reloads, but somehow it stays on the target. And my dog really wants to go in, so I gotta cut this video short. As always, everybody, have fun, keep shooting.